Okay, welcome to Peeling Syd Barrett. This will be episode 23. And in this episode, I'd like to discuss the song Golden Hair. And like I said, I'm going to skip around a little bit and go back and forth between this and the Did Syd series. But Golden Hair it was released on Madcap Laughs album, and that was in January of 1970. It was a little bit of an odd song in that Mr. Barrett had begun recording songs earlier for the album in May of 68, but he broke off for a little bit, and they kind of stopped recording. Apparently, he had a kind of a breakup with a lady, and so he just disappeared for a bit. Not exactly sure what all was going around there, but came back and then finished recording in 69, and later 69, some other songs. And the reason I mentioned that breakup is because the song is called Golden Hair, and he did date a few ladies that had blonde hair. So it kind of makes you wonder, if he was fixated on a specific attribute. Perhaps, perhaps not. Maybe it's just a song. Perhaps he really liked the fifth verse of Chamber Music by Mr. James Joyce, and he just chose it because he liked it. Or perhaps he was trying to relay a message. It's hard to know exactly what his mindset was. One of the good things about this episode is going to be that because this isn't original lyrics by Mr. Barrett, I can actually show the lyrics and we can discuss them thoroughly on the screen, which is pretty cool, in my opinion. So I think this will be a pretty short episode, and I'd like to kind of maybe get into the mindset a little bit of what Mr. Barrett may be like. Now, we already mentioned a breakup, repetitive dating with blondes, and in a book that I'll reference really quick, photos of Syd Barrett, and this is by Mick. Psychedelic Renegades is the title. And Genesis Publications Limited, and this is Surrey, England, 2001. So the portion that I'd like to paraphrase from or refer to is page 2, I believe it's 209 or 109. It's 109, and he mentions that on the bottom of the page 109, he mentions the last time that he was kind of in love. It was for a few months and it went badly and he kind of almost had a breakdown. So I'm not exactly sure. This was in 1971 that he's referring to there. So it's hard to know exactly who he's referring to, and I'm not going to get into who he was dating when, because I don't know that matters. Now, again, we've discussed kind of a perhaps a fluid sexuality. I'm not entirely certain, what all was going on in his personal life, and I don't know that it overly matters when it's really his work that we're trying to discuss. So let's try and stay focused on the work, and we know he had a series of girlfriends at least. So even if he was just a romantic in poetry alone or in song alone, without direct contact with him, if you understand the nature of his relationship with Mick, I don't think that he would go out of his way to kind of lie about something like that with Mick. So you have to wonder, again, now the pop history of him is that he had a breakdown previously, so why is he talking about almost having a breakdown because of a breakup with a previous love? It may be that a lot of his problems were actually caused by having very bad relationships, very bad ends to relationships. I don't know. I can't say that I know that for sure, but that particular quote makes you kind of wonder if that was something that was going on. And in previous episodes like Apples and Oranges, we've kind of discussed that something like that may have been going on. So let's go ahead then. And I just learned how to play this song. So I'm going to play the song, And if I make mistakes, then I make mistakes. That's the way it goes. And what I'd like to do this time that I haven't done normally, and we do corrections and whatnot. I would like to point out that I make mistakes sometimes. I don't really care, and that's part of a process. And I'm always very concerned when I meet people that don't want to look foolish or make mistakes, because that's part of life. And I don't like when people really beat one another up over making mistakes. There's a difference between being wrong and making a mistake. So I have used a lot of different lingo for various things like tuning, keys, and chords. And I'm going to give you a picture of a chord wheel. And the chord wheel basically, it shows you what groupings of chords form keys. And this is just standard, I guess. I don't know how they work all this out. There's a math behind it that ties in with piano, etc., and spacing between these things, but I don't totally get it. There's a count that goes with it. There's also a chord chart. I'm not going to do a chord chart. You can get a chord chart anywhere you like. But this song, it uses a kind of a series of bar chords. So C sharp minor and one finger. So if you like, you can just use the bar chord and just pluck the two strings from the last string on the high end of the guitar, and you get C sharp minor, and then you take off your last two fingers, your ring finger and your pinky, and then you strum the two from the last, and then you just move that from 4th fret down to 2nd fret. So that's a C sharp minor to a B minor, and then I don't know what the last one is, but you take it all the way to the top, and back up to 5th fret, back to 4th fret, and then E and A. And you can do that. I don't like using the bar chord, but you can do it that way if you like. So the point is that that's mostly in the key of A, but it's not entirely in the key of A. I believe it uses a D minor here, but it's actually a D. So supposed to be, for the key, it's supposed to be a D. So perhaps that's what gives it kind of that creepy feel. I don't know. But again, it's kind of a spooky kind of a series of notes that he's managed to pick out very well. And I will point out also that playing this song reminds me a lot of a song called Fragile by Sting, which plucks kind of along the same two sets of strings in the first five frets of the neck in standard tuning. But whatever. Probably just coincidence, I don't know. So let's go through it, and I'm probably going to make mistakes because I just started with this one, but whatever. That's kind of how it goes sometimes. Now the way I like to play it is I play an E, and then I'm just going to keep my pointer finger almost the whole time. My pointer finger is going to stay on that string, and I can locate. I just move that up and down, and I can locate where I am using my pointer finger always on the same string. So let's do Golden Hair, which is verse 5, I guess you would say, of James Joyce chamber music. And just a reminder, we've already discussed in Jug Band Blues the references to James Joyce. So here's another James Joyce reference. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Okay, well, yeah, that was pretty bad, so I'm going to edit it. I'm just going to go through one more time. Trust me, it was really bad. So making a few mistakes is one thing. Subjecting people to that amount of pain would have been torture. So let's give it a try and see if maybe I can get it with just a few mistakes. Lean out your window, golden hair. I hear you singing a merry air. book is closed, I read no more. Watching the fire dance on the floor. I've left my book, I've left my room, for I heard you singing through the gloom, singing and singing a merry air. Lean out your window, golden hair. Okay, there's a few mistakes there, but like I said, I only started playing that one today, so I expect to make some mistakes. So let's run through the lyrics real quick, and I'll just kind of mention a few things. Now, we already mentioned the tarot card, the moon, the ancient form of it, the old French style of it, with the blonde and the man singing to her beneath the moon. It has, this story has shades of like, almost like, yeah, what was that? The one where he says, let down your hair. I want to say like Rumpelstiltskin, it's not. Anyway, there's that old fairy tale about the lady that lets down her hair for the man to come visit her. So that kind of reminds me of this. Anyway, he says, lean out of the window, golden hair. There's a window reference. And a merry air, etc. It talks about reading books and watching the fire dance, and then he leaves to go see her because she's been singing, and then he says, lean out the window, golden hair, so that he can see her, maybe go meet with her or whatever. Now, we've mentioned before, sorry I cough a lot, but for some reason I have allergies, so I do that from time to time, and I realize that may bother some people, but I have pretty bad allergies sometimes. Okay, so like most things that Mr. Barrett does, we have to take this in context. So you have to be familiar with the entirety of chamber music by James Joyce. And if you're not going to understand potentially what may be revealed here. So if he is trying to give a message, I'm not saying he is trying to give a message, but if he is, then we have to understand the context of it, and it might not be directly discerned from that song itself, from that verse. But if you look at the verse just ahead of it, verse 4, which I have made a song for, and I'll link it in the description. And I'll read you really quickly some of the lyrics there. When it's called the Shy Star verse. When the shy star goes forth in heaven, all maidenly disconsolate. So there's a number of interesting references right there. First off, a shy star, and you could call Mr. Barrett a form of a shy star. He was pretty shy, and he was a star. The star is going ahead, maidenly and disconsolate, so sad. There's a sad reference again, and maidenly is a male-female inversion, perhaps relaying the idea that a maiden, of course, is a young lady that's unmarried. So a maiden would be someone that was alone and perhaps didn't want to be, and was feeling sad about it, which, of course, these are not traditional male emotions. Guys are supposed to be tough and not really care about breakups and all that kind of stuff. But the truth is, a lot of guys aren't wired that way. A lot of guys are wired very, very much to be, I don't know what you would call it, I guess monogamous, so, and unable to overcome emotional pain. So some people just, I think, in my experience, there are people that are just wired to experience more pain and have more connections to other people than other folks will. And some folks are wired to recover really well, and some folks just aren't. It's hard for them to recover from bad experiences in life. So anyway, let's go on with the poem. He heard her amid the drowsy even short for evening. One who is singing by your gate. So again, there's another reference to singing by the gate. and a song that's softer than a dew, and he's come to visit you. So again, now we've already discussed the idea of visiting, etc. And if you go check out my Did Syd series, I broke down Julia Dream. And Julia Dream is of the same vein, the idea of this kind of secret liaison. Perhaps it's just literature and it's something that's interesting to Mr. Barrett. Perhaps Julia Dream was influenced by him for some reason. Some people think that he had a hand, perhaps just in helping to, put together the lyrics. Hard to say. Anyway, he says, let's continue on with the second bit of it. Bend no more in reverie. And it says, when he at eventide is calling. So who is he? Obviously not him. It's someone else. And then he says, don't muse, who may this singer be, whose song about my heart is falling? Know you by this, the lovers chant, 'tis I that am your visitant. So he's saying that you'll know me by this song. And I just want to point out that the middle of that second verse there, he says, nor muse, who may this singer be? And we've heard that before. When in Jug Band Blues, he asks the rhetorical questions, who could be writing this song? And I'm wondering who is writing this song that is, I don't know. For me, that's so much wrapped up in the same idea, the same vein, the same feel of this particular verse of chamber music, that you have to wonder if he wasn't citing that. And of course, trying to deliver some form of a message through songs that may or may not have been immediately known to have been written by him. So again, he's asking who is writing this song. He's saying here, nor muse, who may this singer be, whose song about my heart is falling? So who's writing these kind of sad songs, these sad, beautiful songs? Chamber music as a whole is very beautiful. I've tried to convert some of the verses to music. Maybe I'll keep doing that. If you check out my channel, I've committed some of these to music already. I know I did verse 4. I did the very last verse, which is verse 36. I think I may have done one more. Not entirely certain. Not all of them are really going to be all that easy to put together. And I'll probably do Golden Hair. I'll probably do that doing a cover of Mr. Barrett's version. And I'll put that together with a painting or something. I don't know. So that's pretty much it. This will be a short one. I think the biggest takeaway really is that, again, Mr. Barrett, he may be the kind of person who conveys ideas through images and poetry and words, not necessarily in speaking or in direct conversations with people. He may be the kind of person that, I don't know exactly how to describe this, but the kind of person that is trying to convey much larger ideas through art and through indirect action, and perhaps hoping that other people will pick up on that, perhaps tied to the inability to converse in a regular manner, or perhaps tying himself in that other vein and hoping that someone will be able to understand him. But you have to admit, I mean, this is a lot of work. So I mean, you got to be fair to people. I mean, if you really care about people, sometimes you have to meet them halfway, you know. So I'm not sure that Mr. Barrett was the kind of person that would meet people halfway. So anyway, that's it for this episode. I'll do another Did Syd soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, etc. And if you get a chance, check out the rest of Chamber Music by James Joyce. And we'll come back to James Joyce one more time, at least, when I discuss him in relation to, again, Painting Black. So you can go back and look at that episode when we discuss a little bit about James Joyce. So, hope you like this. So I'll talk to you later.